Back in the day, video games were confusing. If you've ever fired up a game that was created before the early 2000s, you may have found yourself completely lost within seconds with no idea where to go or what to do. I mean, just look at what happens when you fire up the original Legend of Zelda for the first time. It's an iconic scene, but there's very little explicit instruction on where to go or what to do. Games of this era relied on players reading the game's manual or simply experimenting and exploring to figure out what to do. And Tunic is clearly an homage to that era of games, though after you dig a bit deeper, it's not as faithful an homage as you might first imagine. This game strives to recreate the mystery and confusion that many older games featured, but it also subtly uses more modern design trends to create a result that's more approachable than the games that inspired it. Tunic introduces its themes of mystery and confusion quietly at first, by dropping you in a world with no instructions, but then quickly ramps things up by demonstrating that even the game's menu text is written in an indecipherable alien language. After a while, you'll discover that most things in the game are designed with obfuscation in mind. The game's isometric perspective is often intentionally used to hide objects and paths from you. And even later, you'll discover secret mechanics that allow you to interact with things that were hiding in plain sight all along. The game's retro framing of these mechanics really becomes clear the first time you encounter one of these squares floating in the game world and discover that it's a page of the game's physical printed manual, a manual that you can bring up at any time as the game fades into a small, blurry CRT screen in the background. After a while, it becomes clear that the central experience of Tunic is not the minute-to-minute action of slashing baddies, but the overarching process of deciphering the rules and logic of the world you're in with little to no guidance. For those who grew up playing games released before the new millennium, this process will feel surprisingly familiar, since it was, perhaps unintentionally, the main way games were made back then. But even if you don't have that memory stored in your mind, the game's subtle nostalgic hints like the CRT filter will fill in the blanks. But as with anything nostalgic, although Tunic may seem like a duplicate of the past, it's not. It's the past remembered through the lens of today. Tunic smooths out the bumps and hitches found in those older games by subtly incorporating the more direct and guided design of today's games. Though the manual pages may seem like one of the most retro things about the game, they're really one of the most modern. They are basically tutorial prompts that tell you what to do in a certain area. They're just more subtle or creative than a text box or NPC spelling things out for you. And ultimately, that should probably be the main takeaway from Tunic. It's not that games should always be these indecipherable, mysterious puzzle boxes, though they certainly can be some of the time. It's that games should give the player 2 + 2 sometimes, instead of just giving them 4. That's the way to truly blend what made early games fascinating with the elements that make modern games approachable.